Hello, my YouTubers. It's me, Ashley. So today I wanted to come and just share a little bit of a season that I've been in, and I feel like I'm getting to that point of being out of that season as the Lord continues to, just mold me, shape me, transform me. But there was a period where I had a meltdown. I had a breakdown. I felt like I had an Elijah experience because so much was happening in the family, in ministry, with work. Like, there's so many different things that were just happening, and I was just like feeling like I was getting hit in different areas. And I woke up one morning doing my usual routine. I done prayed, spent time with the Lord, worshiped, all of that. Went to the gym, worked out, and I'm getting ready to head to work. And as I'm getting ready, I'm driving, and I just became so consumed and overwhelmed. And I just broke down and just started crying. I cried, and I was crying and holding back, like trying to fight the words that were trying to surface, trying to fight back the thoughts that were trying to come up. And these thoughts were, I don't want to be here. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Like, I'm done. I'm over it. Like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And I was just like, I don't like my life right now. And it may be better if I'm not here. I feel invisible. I feel like I'm not, good enough. And I just didn't want to exist. And I was like, maybe life would be better if I just did not exist. So in that moment, I'm saying these things and I'm like, Lord, I know that you love me. I know you've done a lot for me. I know that you're with me. But right now, I just feel so lost. I feel like an outsider. I feel so neglected and rejected. And I know that feelings are temporary. They're not permanent. And I also knew that these things were not true. But this is what I was feeling. I was feeling it so strong. And it was like, okay, I was just going through. So I just cried out to the Lord. And then I was like, okay, I need to talk to somebody. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, who do I call? Who do I talk to? But my pride was like, no, you can't call nobody because this is embarrassing. Because here you are, an author. You are a prayer moderator. You serve and do ministry work. So what is that going to look like to people when you come and tell them what you're dealing with? What is it going to look like? How is it that you can't do that? Because that's going to make you look like you're weak, like you looking for sympathy or something. And me, I'm like, I don't need no sympathy. I'm not looking for that, but I'm just tired. I'm just really tired. I'm tired of being the strong friend where people just keep coming to me and taking, but not necessarily pouring back in. I'm just tired. And, people would ask me, hey, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm good. I'm okay. And it's like, part of me just didn't want to just say how I was really feeling because I'm like, it's just emotions. I'll get past it. But then I began to realize I was having an Elijah experience. And if you remember, it's in the book of Kings about Elijah, where he did great and mighty things for the Lord. He told King Ahab that it wasn't going to rain at his word, and it did not rain. He went against the prophets of Baal and called fire down from heaven. And, Jezebel, once she found out everything that he did, slew those, I think it was like 400 prophets of Baal. He slew them or whatever. And so Jezebel found out, and Jezebel told him to pretty much mark my words. By this time tomorrow, if I don't have your head. Like, she pretty much gave him a death threat or whatever. So what did he do? He fled and left. And he went and was in a cave. And he was like, he didn't want to live. He was just like, he told the Lord he done. He just wanted to die. And that's how I was feeling. And the Lord brought it to my remembrance. I was like, I'm having an Elijah moment. Like, dang. Because the human carnal part of me was like, the human aspect of me, I won't even say carnal, but the human part of me was just like, I know I would never attempt to do anything. So I was like, I'm not going to do anything. But mentally, I was just like, I'm just depleted. Like, I'm tired. I'm just tired of I'm not acting, but I'm tired of just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Like, it's hard to sometimes put one foot in front of the other. And I know the scripture talks about don't get weary in well doing. And I was getting weary in my well doing. And I'm like, I'm just tired. So, long story short, I end up calling someone. And I called this person, and it was an eye opener for me because I poured out my emotions and feelings to the individual. And the response they gave me, it just blew my mind, because this is someone that I consider to be a brother, someone that I'm there for when needed and stuff like that. And all they said was, I don't know what to like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to pray for you. Like, I don't know what to do. But I gave grace because I'm sure I probably caught them off guard. They probably didn't expect that from me. They did try to encourage me a little bit as best as they could, but they couldn't even pray for me. They didn't know what to say, but they was telling me that I am a light, I am needed, which those are things that I know. And I received that part, but it was like in that moment, I was like, okay, wow. So, we talked for a little bit, and I got off the phone, and it came to me where it's like, dang, you got to be careful who you go to with certain issues. You got to be careful who you communicate things with, because that person couldn't pray for me. And let's say if I wasn't strong enough in my faith, I could have possibly went out and did something to myself based on, I said nobody was there for me. I said I was invisible, and this is why I feel like I feel, so you might as well just end it. If I wasn't strong enough in my faith, I could have just ended it at that point. However, the Lord was just like, this is why you got to come to me. This is why you got to, come to me with your cares, come to me with your worries, come to me with your concerns. But also be mindful of who you do go to when you're sharing these personal, intimate moments, because not everybody can handle what you carry, and not everybody can pray for you in the way that you need to be prayed for. So, and there's no shame to the individual, like no harm, no foul, no offense, because it is what it is at the end of the day. But that jump, when I said it did sting and it hurted me, it just let me know, like, see, I'm always there for people. I'm pouring into people certain times, and sometimes I'm not getting that same thing. So it's like a leaking vessel, like I'm just leaking, but nobody's like recharging or refilling me up in certain areas or whatever. So it just kind of helped me be mindful of that. But also within the midst of that, like within days, the Lord began to refresh me, recharge me, and minister unto me, just like he did with Elijah, where the angels kept coming and giving food and told him and gave him some strength, because he said, the journey ahead is great, and so you need to eat. So what the Lord did was feed me spiritually, where when I went to church, I want to say either that same night or the next night, but I went to church and the pastor was teaching about how Jesus was going through something of compassion fatigue, which is a term that I guess psychologists or therapists termed for people who go through so many different things and different emotions at a different time. So it was Jesus himself. His cousin had just died, John the Baptist. He had died. In the midst of that, he's been preaching and teaching about miracles and things like that, dealing with the Pharisees and the Sadducees as well, which were against him, and then performing these miracle signs and wonders. So he gets him and his disciples together and try to go to a place of solitude, so it could just be them. But when they get over there to the other side of the water, there's a multitude of people, and he ministers to them, and he feeds them with the 2 fish and the 5 loaves of bread. So it's like Jesus was going through a lot. He didn't even get to grieve his cousin or whatever, based on what we've read in scripture, but it didn't sound like he was able to fully grieve his loss of his cousin, or get a little break from the situations where he's performing these miracle signs and wonders, and his power is just coming out of him. He didn't get that time to recharge, rejuvenate. And I was like, dang, that is how I feel. Like it's like blow after blow, hit after hit. So many different things was just happening all around, and I'm like, well, dang, like I'm like, ah. But the main point was Jesus kept going. He didn't stop. He didn't let the situation or circumstance that he was in stop him from completing the assignment and the task that the Lord had for him. And that encouraged me and built me up, because now I see that I have to be like Jesus. I got to keep going. There's an assignment. God has called me to do something. So even though things may not be going in the way that I want them to go, God called me to it. So I got to fulfill it, and I got to meet that need. In addition to that, I got on my Instagram, and somebody DM'd me, and they were encouraged by the daily verse of the days that I give. And they said they sat there and they watched about 15 of them, and they were just so inspired and encouraged by it, and they encouraged me to keep doing it, because it does mean something and it holds value. So that blessed me, because I know that my labor is not in vain. So keep moving, keep going, keep moving forward. That actually helped me to see that I am, like, people are receiving things from the Lord. Like, it encouraged me that I'm on the right path and that I'm doing the right thing. And then one of my prayer partners with the prayer team I'm on, they had prayed for us individually. They sent us a recording of a prayer, and they prayed for the group, and it was right after I was having that moment. So it's just like the Lord, he knew what I needed when I needed it, and he brought it forth, and I'm just grateful for that. But then after all of that, the Lord kind of sat me, and we had kind of, I guess, showed me that I get to experience and feel the emotions and things that I feel because it's for other people. Like with me going through the abuse, I'm able to minister to those who have been abused and help mentor them and get them out of those situations. Pray people out of those type of situations. then the feelings, the depression, the different thoughts, I'm able to feel and experience those things because it's to help be able to comfort somebody else that may be in that same place where mentally they checked out. Like, it's just so much going on, but I can minister to them and show them how the Lord has helped me, how the Lord has delivered me out of those situations. So I'm